Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Laura Burrell, and I'm the Program Manager in the Museum, Education, and Creative Programs Department at Bethel Woods Center for the Arts. I want to welcome you to our third Bethel Woods at Home Anniversary Weekend Edition. While the COVID-19 situation continues to make it difficult for us to host programs and workshops on the historic site, we still want to gather, get creative, and join our community, even if it can only be virtually for now. With this series, we aim to bring monthly lectures, performances, and workshops direct to you at home. So stay tuned at the end of this live stream to learn about upcoming programs. Before we begin, I want to take a pause and thank you all for being here. In times of confusion, frustration, and happiness alike, it is the arts that have the power to connect, heal, and bring a sense of peace. So without further ado, I want to introduce our special guest for tonight's program, Tannis Kowalchuk, who is the artistic director of the Farm Arts Collective and co-owner and farm lunch chef at the Willow Wisp Organic Farm. Tannis will be using the finest locally sourced ingredients for this workshop and will guide us all through the preparation of a meal that's inspired by the Hog Farmers at Woodstock from the comfort of your own home. I'm here in my house, and she'll be coming to us live from her kitchen at the organic farm. So let me show you a little bit about what Tannis has been working on. I'm going to share my screen and show you some of the images from her recent performance, as well as from some of her farm work. So let's just click over. Here we go. So here is an image of Tannis, and for those of you that don't know, Tannis is also an amazing flower farmer. She puts together these giant, beautiful bouquets, and she sells them at farmers market in the city here around Sullivan County. She also is the artistic director of a performance group. She performs online for a cooking show called Stone Soup Cooking Class. She's the writer and performer, and she recently produced a show, Dream on the Farm, as the director, and she also starred in it. And here are some images from this production of Dream on the Farm. She has directed and performed in over 30 original theater productions in the US and in Canada. Her projects include not only Dream on the Farm, but also she started the Farm Arts Collective as the founding co-artistic director of the NACL Theater, and she also created the Weather Project. So among acting, directing, and cooking for people on her farm, she is a woman who wears many, many hats, and we are so lucky to have her here tonight with us so that you at home can take the ingredients and cook along with us. So I'm gonna let Tannis join us now on the live stream. Welcome, Tannis.
Hello, how are you all? Hi, Laura. Thanks for the really awesome introduction. Awesome.
You have and are doing an exhaustive amount of things. How do you get it all done?
Well, it's not work. I like doing it, right? I love doing it. I love the theater and the farm and the cooking. So it's great. It's things that I love to do. So you can just manage, I guess. 6 hours sleep's enough.
So I did the formal bio introduction. Why don't you tell us about you?
Okay, well, I guess the reason why I'm really actually super excited to be here is because I have been taking on the farm lunches. I want to talk about that. The farm lunches, we have a crew of about 15 people who work here at the farm. Very hungry come 12:45 when we have to have some food on. And so I have become pretty resilient and good at literally walking into the cooler or into the wash station, which is located here in the barn. So I'm in the barn kitchen right now where I do all the prep and where we eat as a team. And so I just literally go and see what's happening, what they picked, and I just kind of cobble it together. Instant Pot has been really helpful with like being, making the legumes in 25 minutes and that kind of thing. So I'm just really excited to share. As everyone saw the ingredients, there's a lot we want to try to accomplish tonight.
Yes.
I think we can do it. I think, with the plan I have, I'm better planned than I've ever been for any farm lunch. So I'm pretty certain we'll be able to get through this, starting with the rosemary chicken and potatoes. Then we'll hit the chilled cucumber soup, get that in the fridge. The caprese salad, and then the sweet and spicy cabbage salad as a kind of a dessert and finisher to the meal. So I don't know how to make a good dessert. I couldn't possibly pretend. So that's what we're going to do. So I just want everyone to relax. I want everyone to get your ingredients together if you haven't. Hopefully you have. I have mostly everything here around me on this table. So I'm pretty prepared. Should we start with preheating the oven, or do you want to do a talk about the Woodstock?
Actually, why don't you let us know what temperature we should preheat, because that's a really good idea. Let's get the oven hot and ready to go, and I'll cruise into, the connection between why we're doing a cooking show with Bethel Woods and Tannis at the Farm Arts Collective and Willow Wisp Organic Farm.
Okay, so let's preheat our oven right now to 400. If you have chicken that is not with a skin, I would go down to 375. But if it's with skin, we want to the point of this recipe is crisping it up. And I've tried it 3 times this week. So Simon, my son, is so happy because it's his favorite dish. In fact, he said, you should do a cooking show about this. I said, Simon, I am doing a cooking show about this. He's been eating it 3 times this week. Anyway, so let's go up to 400 at the oven.
Okay, while you do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the background of why we're here. So we've premised this event by asking you all in the audience with us this evening to imagine hosting a dinner party for 400,000 new friends. The preparation of this meal is inspired by the Hog Farmers at Woodstock, who were present during the entire weekend. And some might know the Hog Farmers for being a part of the police force and making sure that the security was kind of welcoming and we used gentle words. But for those of you that weren't able to be there, like myself, the Hog Farmers played an extremely important part, because after our vendors, the planned Food for Love vendors, were out of their regular concession foods like hot dogs very early on in the festival, it was the Hog Farmers led by Hugh Romney, who we now know today as Wavy Gravy. And he used his team to collect locally sourced ingredients like we're doing tonight to feed all of the concert goers. It was a huge crowd. It was a diverse crowd. Hugh's wife, Jahanara, along with other commune members like Peter White Rabbit and Lisa Law, took the lead in coordinating the cooking of meals, and they were shared many ways throughout the rest of the weekend and well into Monday morning. The Hog Farm brought everything they could from local farmers in Sullivan County surrounding, Yasgur's farm, and they made food continuously over the course of the 3 days, feeding thousands of people. So we aren't feeding thousands of people today, but we are feeding ourselves, our family. If you're lucky enough to have the ability to spend some time and pod with, your neighbors or your cousins and aunts and uncles, maybe, this meal you'll be feeding them. But for me, it's just my 2 dogs and my husband. So I'm excited to watch, learn something new about, these amazing recipes that you've put together. And one thing that I wanted to leave before we really get to chopping and cooking, and I leave Tannis, to take the control of the screen and everything like that, is that a lot of the people who helped to feed the concert goers really did so because they were so grateful that they received a meal, that they in turn became a volunteer and decided to start chopping and feeding others. And so not only were they volunteers, but they were really all about the community, the experience, and making sure we were taking care of each other, which is a huge theme that we use in the Museum and Education and Creative Programs Department at Bethel Woods, and something we try to include with all of our programs. So now we have our oven on. It's warming up. It might not be yet 100% preheated, but let's take the next few steps to get prepped for this meal. You ready, Tannis?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We're going to start with the chicken dish. I'm going to use 2 small pots. I'm also going to be headless for some of this. Okay. So this is where the chicken is going to go. And this pan is for the potatoes. Okay. So let us begin with some garlic. Okay. So we're going to peel some garlic. I just actually want to show you. This is what the garlic harvest. This is what we got this year. The garlic was so beautiful. Anyway, I just separated them all now. I've got one already peeled. Let's peel 2 big heads or maybe 3 small heads, okay? And we just want to peel the garlic. I have a compost nearby. So I'm a composter. I hope everyone's starting to get into composting because, that always will feed your garden if you have one. So we'll just drop that into compost. And what I want to do is start by simply slicing the garlic really efficiently, just putting it in the bottom of this pan. Okay, this is a Le Creuset, so it's like a steel with some what is it called? Whatever, pottery. Okay, so let's slice it. You do not need to put oil, okay, because the chicken fat is going to seep out into that. Okay, I'm going to do another head. So just slicing it with a little paring knife. If you're a chopper, feel free to chop it. Okay, if you're not super, let me just drop this. There we go. Just chop, you can chop it like that. But slices is good. It doesn't have to be super small. Okay. And I don't know. I love garlic. This is delicious garlic. So I'm actually going to do one more head. I don't have that fancy technique of crushing it. I just do the simple peeling, but you can see. Hopefully my light in here is good. It's a fluorescent light. You can see. So the garlic was harvested in July. It's drying right now. It's curing in our greenhouse. Here, I'll do a little choppy here. It's drying in our greenhouse. And then what they did was they selected out the biggest heads. And that's going to be the seed garlic that's going to get planted in October. I put it on the bottom of the pan just like so. Now, did everyone get some nice rosemary? Okay. If you have fresh rosemary, so fantastic. If you have dry rosemary, use the dry rosemary. All right, so we're going to take literally like little branches, okay? Little branches, and we're going to put it on the bottom of the pan. Okay. Boop. We're making a bed of garlic and rosemary, okay? And now we're going to put the chicken on. All right, so if you haven't finished, I'll wait a few seconds. I'll rearrange mine. Maybe I'll add one more because I have a lot of this. This is coming out of the greenhouse. It's pretty beautiful right now. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. Then I have covered this chicken. These are 4 pieces, 4 thighs. We have flies. It's a barn. So there's not really anything I can do about the flies. So here's 4 pieces, 4 thighs. And I'm going to just pat it dry because I really want to get this skin to crisp up in the oven. That's why we're going pretty hot. Okay. So as you can see, it's absorbed some of the liquid. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this in the pan, okay? Nestle it on a bed of rosemary and garlic. Like so. Now, if you're using a larger roaster and you want to do the potatoes with it, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. I'm doing it in two separate because I just want to be able to control. I want to be able to control the heat and on each item. Sometimes the potatoes take longer. Sometimes the chicken takes longer. So I just wanted to control it. But let's do salting and peppering now. So I love this diamond salt. I have a good amount. And I'm just going to really be generous with the salt, okay? Don't tell your doctor I'm doing this or you're doing this. But generous amounts of salt so that it's like kind of like pulling up the moisture and really seasoning it nicely. And then I have a pepper grinder. Let's just like really be generous as well with the peppers. So you're just using pepper and salt on the skin. And I'm not going to add olive oil. I tried it both ways this week in my experiments, and I'm not going to use olive oil on it because I want that skin to get super crispy and puff up a little bit. So if I put oil on it, it doesn't puff up as much. My oven's on. It's ready. Okay, so the chicken is ready. Now let's work on the potatoes. I'm not putting the chicken in yet. Okay, so in this pan, I have some potatoes. Now these are fingerling potatoes, also of course from our farm. And what I want to do is simply turn these into bite-sized pieces. All right. Oh, folks, if you did put the chicken on this, you might want to wipe it down. I didn't. I had it on a plate and then I put it directly in. So just wipe down your cutting board or your counter if you did put the chicken on it, just to be safe. Okay. All right. Some headless chopping. Just cut them the way you want them. You want them bite-sized, you want them super bite-sized, whatever. Cut them the way you would like them to be on your fork. Okay. So the potatoes are pretty good this year too. We've had a great year. The garlic, potatoes. Right now, the only thing that's really suffering the most is the brassicas and the cooking greens, because we've had such bad heats. So I know that there's some disappointment because the kale has been kind of bad, and they're afraid there's not even going to be a decent crop in the autumn. So that's kind of sad. And if anybody has any questions, you should send them. Feel free to send them, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Okay. So I'm just going to put this. Let's see if I can I'll get this out of the way so I can just show you. All right. So I'm putting my potatoes in the pan. Okay. Now I'm doing food for like 3. Like I said, I made this chicken earlier today, so I actually have a few more pieces pre-made. So I'm not going to do more than 4 tonight, but I'll do a few more potatoes because these will be good the next day. Of course, tomorrow's Sunday brunch. You know, you can fry them up with an omelet. Put them in a salad because we're going to roast them and it'll be delicious. All right, this is it. And that's all I'm going to do. Just that. Okay. I always overdo it on the potatoes, so I'm trying to be moderate. So that's the amount I'm doing. You know, it's hard between doing 15 for lunch and then 3 for dinner. That's what I have to do. All right. So we've got our potatoes in there.
Tannis, we have a
Yeah, great.
question. So do you peel the potatoes? Can you peel the potatoes? Or is it best to leave the
I
skin
don't
on?
peel the potatoes. These are new potatoes, so I would assume everyone's gotten pretty new potatoes at this point of the year. So I use the skin year round. If people feel like their potatoes look bad and they want to peel them, then I guess it takes a lot more time. Maybe we should try not peeling them tonight. Just give them a good rinse, wash, and try to eat the skin. It's quite tasty. It adds some nice texture to it and flavor, and of course vitamins and all that. All right, so I have this lovely olive oil pourer, which I don't mind showing off to you. I got this in Napoli. It's what the pizza guys use in the pizzerias in Napoli. All right, so it pours out nice. I have fantastic olive oil. This is olive oil that I got from a friend, my friend Giacomo, and it's olive oil from Matera, which is in Basilicata, which is near Puglia. And it's a beautiful place. If you ever want to visit Italy, go to Matera. It's a World Heritage Site. It's incredible. It's like caves. It's the cave town. Okay, so you got your olive oil. We're going to do a mix with our hands, but wait, you want to do some rosemary. Okay, so once again, if you got this beautiful, aromatic, fresh stuff, and if I'm going too fast, folks, at home, just like shout, because I go fast. I know I do. Okay, so I'm just ripping this off. Ripping it off. I like it. I love rosemary, so I'm putting a good amount on. Put the amount you want. Now, there's something that I forgot to mention in our ingredient list, and it's going to be fine if you don't do it. But I have this pepper here. It's a pepper I dried last year. I don't know if you can see it. It's just half of one. I'm just going to crumble it in. If you happen to have some dried chili flakes, you can add a little bit. If you like the heat. I like it on the potatoes, so I'm going to do that. And we're growing these really cool ones this year. They're Guatemalan, and they're really tiny. They look amazing. So I'll dry them again. Okay, so we got olive oil, we got the rosemary, a little hot pepper if you like it. And now we'll add some salt. The salt, the diamond kosher salt is very nice. It's apparently what the chefs use. Okay, so we'll just do the salt. If you didn't have this red pepper and you wanted to do a little black pepper, you could do that. Okay, so now I'm going to use my hands, and I'm just going to mix it up like so. Okay, and then just spread them out so they're going to get nicely browned. Spread them out in the pan like so. Okay, this is something that I learned. I'm just going to wipe my hands now because they're oily. This is a recipe I learned when I was in the south of Italy working as a young actor. The town I lived in was just above the Amalfi Coast, above Positano, and they were famous for their potatoes. So this was the recipe of the town. Okay, you got your potatoes. You have your chicken. Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready to go to the stove or the oven and put it in? I'm going to do it. Okay, here we go. I'm going lower on the oven, like I'm not doing it too high up. I'm doing on the second to lowest rung. Okay, so everyone is going to their ovens and putting their chicken and their potatoes in. So it'll be a really nice smell in your house with the rosemary and the garlic. Okay, So that's our meat and potato part of the dinner. Why don't we move to building the soup? Again, it's pretty easy. How are we doing, Laura? Are we good?
Oh, we're doing great.
Good.
There's a couple notes just in terms of when we're live together, we have to speak really loudly.
Okay.
Just because we're both streaming from two different homes, but I'm already starving and I wanted to pepper in here with not a spice, but a little story. The reason why we chose to do a soup this evening for today's production came directly from a Woodstock alumni quote that we came across. And for those of you that don't know, Bethel Woods is collecting stories from anyone that attended the 1969 festival, and we keep this really rich archive, which is so fun to go through. And we had our assistant curator Julia Fell pull some quotes for us that were specifically food related just for tonight's show. And one quote from Linda Goldman via Paul Dittmer really stuck out, and she says, "Our main objective that weekend was food." Mm-hmm. At the Hog Farm, they had set up a free kitchen, and so she felt they would never go hungry that weekend. And she remembers lining up for soup, which had a pinkish color to it, and what she says are some mysterious vegetables. And she said that it was served in a tin can that was warm, and it was so tasty. And the woman who had poured it into her can kind of yelled out to her at the end of the line, "Bring back whatever you don't eat, because it'll go right back into the pot." And so I thought that was such a lovely quote about, again, that sense of community and sharing. And really, soup goes a long way. We think about how we feed the hungry, and it's usually at a soup kitchen. And, we really wanted to include this next soup just as a little nod to our Woodstock friends.
Yeah, soup's an amazing thing. I think I do a couple a week for sure. They go a long way, and yeah, I love making soups. This one I learned when I was in Bulgaria. So it's a Bulgarian yogurt, cucumber, garlic, walnut, dill soup. Okay, so those are the ingredients we're going to need. Yogurt, olive oil, cucumbers, dill, garlic, walnuts. Okay, shall we start? This is the dill I have. It's so pretty. Okay, am I loud enough, Laura? Tell me that I am. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me.
It sounds great. I think the audio is more when we're both on the screen, but you sound great when you're on the screen alone.
Okay. Okay. So since it's a since it's going in the fridge, this is just the simple bowl I'm using. One of my bowls here. I've washed my cucumbers. These are very thin-skinned again, so I'm gonna just use the skin. If you're using, if you're using like an English cucumber, maybe you should peel half of the skin off, because you want some of the green. You want some of the green. If you feel that your English cucumber skin is like going to be like thin and add flavor, then just leave it. I mean, who wants to do tons of work? But you know how there's some cucumbers that seem like they have like almost a waxy finish? That I would peel away half of it, okay? But I am not peeling this. What we're going to do is do some serious chopping, Laura. So you asked me if there should be some music, some background music. Maybe this is where you would want to do it. Hey, everyone, I cut off the ends of these cucumbers because that's where the bitter can be if it's going to be bitter, okay? So just start with a couple of these and make sure you can see me.
I was just going to say, you might want to angle it down a little. Plus, the sound of chopping is music to my ears.
Okay, yeah, it takes you back. Okay, so I just did three chops, 3 lengthwise, and now I'm gonna do some. I just want to make sure there we go. There. Okay. I want to make it pretty small. Now, I read about this, like I did go online to see, this recipe, just to make sure I was doing it right, because I'm just doing it from memory. As you can see, I don't really follow recipes, friends. I'm just by visualizing the amounts, the numbers I have to feed, I do it. So I'm making these pretty small. There was someone online, a Bulgarian woman, who was like, don't use a food processor. She was like, it should not be a food processor. It should be like chunky. It should be in the teeth. And of course, like all the babas, all the grandmas in Bulgaria probably did not have food processors when they made this soup. So cucumbers are just a remarkable, beautiful thing in the summer. Very cooling. Okay, there we go. Again, go lengthwise so that you get little squares. Okay. So that was 2 medium-sized. Oh, wait, I want to cut off the ends. So anyone out there doing pickles? These are good for pickles. I tend to do the fermented ones, like the half sours. My grandmother, she was Polish from the old country. And she would always have a crock of pickles going throughout the summer. We had a really big garden at home. I'm from Winnipeg, and my mom and grandparents and my uncle came from actually Belarus, but poor Belarus. But they were a Polish community in Belarus. Anyways, we had a big garden. Grandpa and Grandma made a huge garden, and we ate out of it all summer long. And the pickle recipe, I can tell you what it is while we're chopping. So easy. So you get pickles, your cucumbers, smallish like this, right? And you put them in a mason jar. Okay, stick them in a mason jar along with 3 or 4 heads of garlic. Okay, I'm going to do a few more of these. A few heads of garlic, the dill, okay, some spice if you like, some chili pepper, some hot peppers. Some people do bay leaf if they have it. We didn't have it when we were in Winnipeg, but and then you make a solution of salt water. Don't use iodine salt. So you want to have like kosher salt. You want to have pickling salt, I guess. Sea salt is great. And you make a solution. And when you put your finger in it and you taste it, it should taste like the sea. If when you accidentally swallow your seawater when you're swimming, that's what it should taste like. So it's a pretty strong solution of salt and water. And you pour it into the jar, and then you need to find a way to keep your cucumbers submerged. So you can put like a little bowl, like for example, if you were, let me just lift this up. So you're sticking I would use a bigger jar, right? You're sticking your cucumbers in, and you want to use a skinnier mouth. You want them to stay under the water, okay? So after you stick them in, I would use smaller ones. They're underwater for 3 days. 3 days in on your counter. So you want it to be at 70 degrees or a little higher, sitting on your counter, and it's going to start to ferment, and it'll start to bubble up a little bit. And so you don't want to like tightly screw on your lid. You just want to leave it on top, keeping it submerged. You can weight it down with a little cup or something, just to make sure it stays submerged. Because once the oxygen gets in, it could go soft, your pickles. And after 3 days, you can taste it. And if you like the sour content, put it in your fridge. If you want to even wait one more day, leave it one more day, and you're going to have beautiful pickles, and they'll stay crisp and sour and delicious for months and months and months in your fridge. Okay. So that was a little pickle lesson in the middle of Tatator. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about this, everybody. So it's like, it's a third full. Okay. Now, guess what? More garlic. Okay, here we go. More chopping. This now, I want to definitely make it super, super mincy. One way, let's do 2 heads, okay? So peel, if you don't have a garlic available, just let's do 2 heads. I'm peeling mine. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 large heads. A friend of mine is a chef in Prince Edward Island, and she showed me how to make this paste. So we're going to do this. I just want to make sure you can see this, friends. Okay. So we're doing this thing, and then we're going to make it into as small a pieces as we can, super mincy. I know my technique is not chefy, but I'm just a farmer. I'm just an actor. Okay. So then what we're going to do is add a little bit of salt to this. Okay. So this is going to kind of like soften it even more. Oh. Okay. And she started doing this. So she was doing this. And then she would like kind of flatten it like that. So see if you can try that on your cutting board. Hopefully you're not going to cut watermelon on this right away. Because we're really, really getting some serious garlic flavor into this wood. Oh my gosh, this cutting board, this was made by one of the farmers on our team. He made it for our stone soup cooking class. His name's Jay Ledoux. He makes really nice things. So I'm smashing it because I really want this to be pasty. I'm not really doing as good a job as Emily Wells in Prince Edward Island. Oh, Emily, where are you? She's in Prince Edward Island. She has a great restaurant there. All right. You know what? This is going to like totally get rid of anything you have. If you're feeling a little under the weather, this is going to do the trick. All right. I'm pretty happy with this. After we make the soup, we'll check in on our chicken. All right, so now, boom, right in there. Okay? Right in. Hopefully your whole family is going to be eating this together. Okay, next up, some walnuts. Okay, a handful, that's enough. A handful is enough. So I'm just going to, there, a handful of walnuts. Okay. Okay, there we go. Want to be perfectly placed on your screens. And we're chopping. Now, I probably, if I had like this gourmet time on my hands, I would probably roast them, but I didn't think we would have the time to do it as a group class today. But you know, you could put them on like a pan, like a frying pan, you know, cast iron pan, and just give it a little bit of a roast, and then cool it down, and chop it up like this. Okay, So, handful. This is one of the best parts of the soup. And then finally, we have the dill. The final dry ingredient is this dill. And there's a little bit of, you can see a little bit of the seed. This is what you want to put in. Oh, you know what? I didn't mention it with the pickles. You want to put the dill in the pickles. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. I forgot. So that's the part of the dill plant, the seed, the flower. That's what you want to use in pickles. So I'm going to actually, I don't want to use that because it can be a little bit, I guess, like chewy in a bad way. I just want the plant part. All right. So I've gotten rid of the dill. Well, if I didn't have tons of this stuff, I would probably save it, but I'm just going to compost it. Okay. So now we're going to cut some dill weed up. If you just are having the dry at your disposal, that's okay too. But of course, you know, there's nothing like fresh dill. It's a good amount. Okay. So I'm putting that back. And then finally, I will put the dill into the soup, the dry soup. It's still not a soup because we have to add the yogurt next. Okay. So just going to wipe my hands. And I'm going to grab some yogurt, something that I had in the fridge. This stuff, you can get it at Peck's. Greg, my husband, really likes it. It tastes kind of homemade. So I'm just pouring this full amount in. Okay. So it was 3/4 full. What I'm going to do now, what I'm going to go do right now is put some water in this, maybe a third, maybe up to here, up to here, up to here, up to where my fingers are. Yeah. And I'm going to add that. Okay. I'm going to go do that. So I'm adding some cold water to this. Yeah. So I'm adding a little cold water to this. The cucumbers will also be releasing their water. And I'm going to just stir it up now, okay? So just give it a really nice stir. Check your, you'll see what your consistency is. This is looking pretty thick. Pretty nice. It's such a refreshing soup. And I did have it when I was doing a performance in Sofia and Varna Festival. That was on the Black Sea, the theater festival. Okay. I want salt because we had a little bit of salt in the, actually I want to taste it. I don't think I put enough salt in the garlic for it to be enough for this soup. More salt. Okay. So this is my consistency. It's almost like a, it's a tzatziki. It is a tzatziki in a way, isn't it? With walnuts. Okay. The last thing is some olive oil. Okay. Everyone at home is like, how much was that? 3 tablespoons? It's going to be good whether it's 3 or 4. That just makes it taste really good.
Tannis, I was just going to ask, how are you figuring out how much to put in? And I remember having a conversation with you about, the kind of go with the flow cooking style when you're cooking for a crowd, and how I know you cook for large groups at your farm, and so what should we say if we're worried about using 3 exact tablespoons of oil?
Everyone is so different when they cook. And so I like to look at recipes to get an idea. But I think it's partly my experience. I just feel pretty comfortable. But I feel like, I do taste. So I'm going to taste this again to see. It's really good. If you think it could use some more salt, put it in. But this is really tasting nice. It needs a little bit of time now to sit together. But this is what you want to get. You want to get a thick, oh, I'm spilling on my computer. God, hang on, guys. I'm just really wanting you to.
So, Tannis, you have muted yourself when you spilled your cucumber.
No, the yogurt
There we
muted
go.
me. The pedophile muted me.
I love producing live events like this because you never know what's going to happen. I told my husband I have these 2 huge dogs, and they're both puppies, and I said, we're live streaming from the house, so you have to get them out. I said, I don't care where you go, I don't care what you do, but I can't have dogs barking in the background because we live on a little lake, and there's birds that swoop by, and it's never quiet here. So this is honestly the most quiet my house has been in a long time.
That's why I'd like to do it like stuff here in the barn, because no one's here right now. It's great. Okay, so I'm happy with my soup. Are there any questions out there? Any need for clarification? I'm going to put this in the fridge. Anyone? Did anyone else spill their soup on their computers?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the comments are going to start to pepper in with, garlic chopping accidents, and what do you do if you cut yourself? But no, right now it's live audience is pretty quiet. I'm sure they're hustling to keep up with you.
Right.
But let's move on to our 2 salads.
All right, great. Why don't I'm going to go take a look at the chicken. I just want to see what's going on in my oven. Yeah. As you can see, my glasses are entirely steamed up. So it's cooking. Still needs more time. So folks, put your soup in the fridge so you can get it really nicely chilled. And we'll clean up our cutting board and move on to caprese. Okay, so I'm going to just do a little tidy up because you can see I had my yogurt moment. So I'm just going to wipe down my cutting board. I have my handy dandy soapy water here. I'm going to clean my knife with my soapy water. Okay. This. And just do a bit of a tidy up on my cutting board. Okay.
Tannis, we do have one question.
Sure.
Someone had asked where they can get some of your flowers from the picture.
Well, flower talk. I should have had a bouquet here displayed beautifully. My flowers can be bought at Narrowsbrook Farmers Market, at Kowalchuk Farmers Market in the city, at Union Square, and at Grand Army Plaza. And then I can do special orders for people People come here on Thursdays to pick up a food bag, a Farmer's Choice mixed bag, and I always have loads of bouquets on sale. Thursdays at the farm from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So that is another option. Or if someone needs something made, I know someone just called about a funeral. I can do that. I like doing that. I mean, not funerals, but weddings, whatnot, parties. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for some serious Italian caprese now? Okay. Me too. Where's my stuff? I'm going to go get all my stuff. Tomatoes, mozzarella, oregano, basil, olive oil. Okay, that's what we need. I'm going to go get it. Look at that. So pretty. So what we want to do is slice these, and then we want to layer them with the cheese, the mozzarella cheese. I got this. This is a Tonja's mozzarella. If you're not eating the milk products, you can just do this without the cheese. It'll still taste beautiful, okay? And the color is fantastic. So I would really like to because I have this fantastic cutting board, I want to make the display on this cutting board, okay? So how do I do this? Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll maybe work here and then put it here. All right, so let's just start with slicing some tomato. It's so hard to cook in front of a computer. Okay, I sharpened this knife.
You're doing a great job, much better than I would be doing. I said, being on the back end and producing things is, I think, so much easier than trying to chop on camera.
That's very okay. Headless chef cutting tomatoes. Here we go. So I'm trying to achieve what I want to do is I just want to see what my slices look like. I'm trying to keep them as uniform as I can. I just heard Greg come in. Greg, what is the name of this tomato? Are you there? I don't know. I heard a door. Hey, what's the name of this tomato, the red one?
Beefsteak.
It's a beefsteak? Okay. And now we're going to cut this yellow one, okay? And we're going to design a little tower. Oh, that was not a good cut. Okay, the edges, not so much. Okay, so now my other thing I want to do, can you see that? Great, perfect. I'm going to slice this cheese like so. Boop. I'm going to start with 4 slices because I might be able to do 2 per layer, okay? So, all right. So let's start with 1 tomato tower with yellow and 1 tomato tower with red. Actually, I want to put the bigger slices on the bottom because they need to be the good foundation. Okay, the more central. Then we're going to do a cheese layer and a cheese layer. Okay, now this is where you want to get your oregano. Okay, so I have some fresh oregano. I'm going to just pull off. Again, you can use the dry too, folks, because it's not easy to find this kind of fresh oregano. So that's it. Just a few little bits and pieces. All right, and then I'm going to put the red on top of the yellow and the yellow on top of the red. Then I guess that I've cut enough. Let's make it look a little better. Okay. I'm just going to eat. Oh, okay. And then I'm going to finish this one. Since I started with yellow, red, I'm going to add yellow. And this one started red, yellow, and I'm adding red. Okay. And I'm going to do another. Actually, let's put the oregano on the cheese part because we'll finish it with some basil. Yeah. So a little more oregano. One more. Okay. And now this. Okay. And if my son ate this, I would make another one, but I'll just reserve. Well, maybe I'll just make one more. What the heck? Since I have it, you can eat it. So let's just start. I'll do one more slice of cheese. It's getting a little hot in here, so this cheese is not slicing as well. Okay. So here we go. Yellow, cheese, oregano, red, cheese. I'm just going to cut one more slice to get a beautiful slice because it's the top. There we go. Okay. So then you want to finish it with some basil. Basically, one basil leaf on top. Make sure you can see this. Yes. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'll have to do a bit of a tidy up so you can see this. Okay. One basil leaf on top. And then you want to just drizzle some olive oil. Olive oil. Okay. And there you have your caprese salad. Okay. So, and it's a really nice display. I'm not going to spill caprese salad on my computer, but as you can see, maybe I can tilt the computer so you can just see it from the top. It's very pretty. Okay. It's a really beautiful, beautiful designed salad. Now, this we'll just put this off to the side because it doesn't need to go in the fridge. It just needs to be at room temperature. Okay, so we're going to put that off to the side.
So we're getting lots of comments because of the size of your basil, which is hilarious because right before we started this evening, I said, Tannis, my goodness, so what kind of basil is that? Mine, my plant looks puny compared to it, but I have a sweet basil and a Thai basil in my garden. And which kind is that basil?
It's classic Italian, Genovese, classic Italian basil. Some years it does great. Other years we get a blight on it. This year, the blight has stayed away. So it's amazing that we're still getting it so beautiful, like at this time of year, because you can sometimes like the tomato blight, the basil blight, it can like really creep in, especially in the heat and stuff. So, All right, I'm just putting everything away. I'm really happy with that. That looks pretty.
We also have some fans of the cucumber soup. We're getting some comments coming in that they're loving the taste and the flavor, so congratulations.
Yes.
And, we've had the chicken in now for a little over 40 minutes. How's that doing?
Everyone check your chicken. So if your chicken is crispy and brown, you should take it out. Actually, I'm going to grab those potatoes and show you something about the potatoes. This oven is taking a little bit longer than my home oven. So if I was at home, it might have been ready. Okay. These potatoes are just starting to brown. I am pretty sure at this point in my home oven, they would have been ready. So I think if yours are ready at your house, then they can just be taken out of the oven and left to just be eaten at room temperature. They'll hold the heat for a long time. I think I would give this another 5 minutes, just because I like it crispy. And my chicken is still like, the skin is still needs a little bit of work. But I want to show you, after 45 minutes, my chicken did look like this today. This is what I pre-made at home. So that was after 45 minutes. So just check to see it's browned, it's crispy. Okay. So use your best judgment. Definitely it's cooked. It's been in 45 minutes at 400. It's cooked. Any other questions before we move on to our last salad?
Not at this point, but it's so interesting that we chose a salad to end on, and that's definitely, your influence because of your taste and your flavor profile and what you prefer. And we were kind of tossing the idea back and forth at Bethel Woods about, ending with some kind of parfait that included granola, because the most famous, food story that gets told is, breakfast in bed for 400,000, which was announced from the stage. And a lot of, the quotes from our alumni registry talk about the Hog Farm commune and seeing granola for the first time. Some of the audience members didn't even, eat that combination of food. But we went a different direction. But I did want to talk a little bit about Pat Holland's quote from our alumni registry. And she says that the Hog Farm commune set up this free kitchen and actually put her to work. And she said that my job was stirring one of the many 50-gallon drums of oats. And I was done for after a couple of hours. And she had never heard of granola before that time. And, it's interesting. They shared the granola in little Dixie cups and passed it through the crowd. But we decided to go in a different direction today with a citrus salad, which reminds me of this quote that we found from one of our docents, Jim Shelley, who last night joined us live online from the event gallery at Bethel Woods. He did a wonderful job speaking with our curator Neil Hitch about the music of the generation and their feelings and thoughts, and they listened to music and told stories. But Jim was also, at the festival and had planned to buy food when he arrived, and then quickly found out that the vendors had sold out. And on his way back to his blanket, someone shared with him some oranges, and him and his friend ate this citrus, and that's all they had all weekend. And so I love the idea of a citrus salad dessert because it speaks to many quotes that talk about oranges and fruit and different things that, were brought directly from the farms around them, or something you could carry in your hand. And so I just wanted to prop up our dessert salad with a little history there. So
Right.
why don't you tell us about where the salad comes from and why you chose it?
I made it up. I just made this up. We have this beautiful cabbage. I'm just going to grab it. We have a lovely cabbage here called Caraflex. It's cone shaped, and it has a really light leaf. It's not dense. It's very light. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair it with a nectarine, okay, and a couple nectarines that I have. Bought local nectarines in season now, and we're going to add a little spice with some jalapeno. So if you have that, that's great. And then we're going to do a dressing of simply tahini and vinegar. So it'll be sweet, peppery, and sour. It'll be really nice. A nice way to finish. Although, I do make my own granola. I really should have just thought of the parfait. Next time. Next year. Okay. So let's do headless.
I know, we can go on the road and do multiple cooking shows together. Actually, I prefer to make my own granola. And I found that out actually a few years ago, because the fancier granolas get, the more expensive they are. And if you're looking for a low sugar option, the best thing is to make it yourself, because you can really control whether it's honey or maple syrup or none at all, and just, change the flavor profile. So
Yeah.
we should go into business together with
All
cooking.
right.
It's just granola based. Maybe next year for the anniversary weekend.
So with this little cabbage, what I'm going to do is just slice it lengthwise. Okay, so if you have a normal round cabbage, you just want to cut it down the core like that. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to simply do some very as thin as possible slices of this cabbage to make it really, really delicate. Okay. So if you had a mandolin, you could use that. I'm just happy with the knife. I don't mind doing this. For those of you who make sauerkraut, I do use a huge mandolin for that. But you want it to be I like it thin. My mother's the most expert cabbage slicer. She can get it literally see-through paper thin. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out. It's too chunky. Okay, and then just pop it in a bowl, a little salad bowl if you have one on hand. Okay, here we go. This is like the chopping music. Chop, chop. We actually have a little chopping song in our stone soup cooking class. That's nice. But I have to sing it with my partner, Jess. Oh, I smell my chicken. You know what? I want to go. How's everyone's chicken doing? I'm going to go check it. I smell it. Yeah. Okay, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. It's coming out. Sorry. Okay. So for 3 people, I'm going to do one more head. Okay, taking off the bottom, cutting it in half, getting rid of the outside skin, and chop, chop, chop. So sauerkraut's basically the same thing as the pickles that I was talking about. You can do in the autumn slice it like this, cover it with some salt, maybe for like a whole bowl this size. You can hear the Greg's back from market. For a whole bowl that size, you would maybe put in a tablespoon of salt, and then you just pack it into a jar, let it sit on your counter for a week or so, and then get it into a cold place, and you'll get sauerkraut. I'm just going to remove this outer skin. Okay, so we have sliced thinly this cabbage into a slaw, okay, a coleslaw. And then this is the sweet part. Just half your nectarine, pulling it apart if you can. Okay. I already washed it, so and again, I'm keeping the skin on because it'll add a really nice color. And I'm just slicing it up, okay, into slices. And then I'm gonna like just cut these slices into smaller bite-sized pieces so that they're almost like little matchsticks. And they have a nice crispness to them, so it'll taste nice with the cabbage. It'll hold its own with the cabbage. Okay. I might need to do this. This is a tricky one. Okay, I got the stone out. Again, little just slices, like so, just so you can see. And then we'll just make little matchsticks. Julienne. Okay. I'm almost thinking that this one fruit is going to be enough. Feels like a good balance to me. And matchstick it. Crisscross. You're just crisscross cutting. Okay. Lovely. So that's what we got. Okay. Now, our last fabulous herb of the day. Our last herb of the day is some beautiful mint. I picked it this morning. Okay, I'll just take it out. So we're just going to grab some leaves from it, okay? And look at the flowers. The flowers would be really, really nice. You see them? And they'll add a little color. So I'm taking the flowers. They've got kind of like a purple on them.
Hey, Tannis, can you tell us how you separated the fruit from the stone?
I just cut right into it. Like I quartered it. Like I did 4 quarter slices, and then I just pried it open with my strong farmer hands.
Thank you.
I had to cut it. I'll show you. Hang on. Okay, I have to do quarters. Hang on. There. Just make that incision. Okay? So then you have it in quarters to do that slicing. All right, I'm here with the mint. We grow two kinds of mint, this peppermint and the mojito mint. I like this one better. The mojito mint is actually less strong. So handful of mint. Okay, and now I will just do some, just like literally slicing like that, cutting it into ribbons. And put it in your pot, in your bowl. I am going to go take my chicken out. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to let it rest for a little bit. We'll continue with our salad. All right, so we have all the dry ingredients in this, the mint, the nectarines, and the cabbage. I think that was all I had. Oh, wait, I want to do a little jalapeno. Here it is. So I have this little jalapeno, and I literally mean a little jalapeno. Okay, so we'll just do maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 5 slices. Okay, so literally what can fit on the edge of your knife. It's like 5 slices, very thinly sliced. And I just need to get some leverage here. We're just going to mince. And we'll get this mixed in when we toss it, because we're going to toss it vigorously. So I'm just putting it, I'm just putting it in the bowl. Oh, that felt good on my cut. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it's mixed in right now. Now, the final part of this dish, and our final dish, we're going to make a salad dressing. If you have a little bowl, grab at that. I'm just going to use this jar, but just just go ahead and find some kind of vessel that you can stir or shake. I'm going to shake this. If I can, yeah, I got my lid here. Okay, so if you have your tahini, this is ground up sesame seeds. You're going to just take like a heaping teaspoon, put it in your jar.
What other kind of herbs can you substitute if we couldn't get our hands on mint?
Right. What would I use? Not the dill, because you had it in the tarator. I think I just wouldn't put an herb in, because the mint is so desserty. Like, I don't know what's comparable to a mint that's like will work as a kind of dessert salad. Basil, maybe the Thai basil. The Thai basil might, or anise hyssop and anise.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe even just fennel, if you had some fennel, yeah. Especially since we're in mandolin territory.
So fennel or even fennel seed. That's a good digestive as well. If you have some dried fennel seed at home, you could add that, because this is like, it's truly like a light finishing end of meal kind of thing, like the last thing you eat. Okay. So you got your tahini in here, And I suggested white vinegar. So if you have some white vinegar, or if you have apple cider vinegar, which I also have, go ahead. Now, you did like a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of tahini. Now you want to do what? 1, 2, 3, say 4 teaspoons of this. And you just want to mix it up. Okay. So you're like really like liquefying the tahini. Some salt, maybe 2 pinches of salt. And so in the salad dressing world, you want 2/3 oil, 1/3 vinegar. This is a little different because we have the tahini, which is a rich oil. So we're gonna stop there. Okay. Now, if you like a sweeter dressing, I don't, but if you want a sweeter dressing, then you could, at this point, add a little maple syrup or honey or sugar, whatever you have around. Okay, I'm not going to because the nectarines and the mint are going to be enough for me. But some people like adding the sugar to the salad dressing. I just want to taste the salad dressing and tell you how mine tastes. I want to add more vinegar, so I'm going to add a little more vinegar. It should have a little bit more of a sour taste. Should taste the vinegar. I'm going to taste it again. There. So you should taste the vinegar and you should taste the tahini. And if you had lemon, you could use that too. I don't have lemon. So it tastes pretty good to me. Any questions? Because I'm about to dump it onto this cabbage. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so here we have our cabbage, dry cabbage salad with nectarines and mint and jalapeno. I'm now going to pour this dressing on quite liberally. Okay. I'll just finish it. And now I'm going to just get my salad tongs. They're right behind me, and I will toss.
So overall, how much oil in the dressing would you estimate you've used at this point?
I would say I used a third oil, a third tahini, a third vinegar. If I didn't have the tahini, it would have been 2/3 oil, 1/3 vinegar. So we're tossing. You can really smell the tahini. It smells really nice. And that's making the salad very soft. Okay. And there you have it. So it's 7:24. We did 4 dishes in an hour and a half. I want to maybe display everything we made. Did we do that?
We did a great job. While you're putting together what we both referenced as the bounty of the meal we're cooking tonight, I just want to mention a few things to our audiences online and those joining us. We, of course, want to thank you. I know a live cooking streaming show is an interesting anniversary weekend choice for Bethel Wood Center for the Arts. And of course, 2019 was our big 50th anniversary, and it looked a little different. So, while we're here and we're doing social distancing and we're keeping each other safe and healthy and happy, we want to thank you for joining us online. This is the third in our series, which I mentioned earlier, and we will have another live stream tomorrow, which we're calling Yoga from the Field. And so you'll get to join me again live from our festival field. And there, Susan Mendoza of the Chi Hive will be leading an in-person and virtual yoga class. So don't worry if you can't make it here. You can join us again on YouTube and Facebook and take that yoga class with us and soak in the beautiful surroundings of the festival field. We're going to start at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. And Susan has been teaching and practicing yoga and mindfulness for 20 years. She has an extensive professional background in movement, fitness, yoga, and theater. And there still are a few in-person spots if you do want to bring your mat and your towel and your water and join us live on the field. But you can choose to do that from home as well. And, I'm sure everyone's aware that our pavilion season has been canceled, and the revenue of which helps us to offset the costs that we use to operate the center and continue to provide quality educational programming to the community and everyone out there. So if you think of us and want to help us out to continue offering that kind of programming, we try to provide things at no cost. We do have a text to give campaign. I'm going to share some information with you. If you want to consider contributing, any size will help. You can also go to bethelwoodcenter.org/donate. We're always accepting and any gifts that anyone wants to give us. And lastly, we are open. The museum is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. We have a beautiful photography exhibition called Earth in Focus that's on our grounds, so you can walk around outside. We do ask that you come prepared with a mask. We also have some masks for purchase in our museum store just in case. But the Earth in Focus is a celebration of our dynamic planet. It's on display. It's outside. We do encourage you to, use the grounds as your exploration, since we've been spending a lot of time at home lately. And so, Tannis, I'm gonna let you walk us through this amazing meal. And thank you so much for being here. And so, tell us a little bit about what it looks like.
All right. So I'll just move this computer. So here we have our roasted garlic chicken. We have our potatoes. We have our caprese salad. Hang on. And then let's see if I can do this. Then we have this dessert salad, finishing salad of cabbage, nectarines, mint, and jalapeno. And I hope that everyone enjoys your meal tonight. It looks great.
It looks delicious. I am now kind of kicking myself for not cooking alongside of you so that I could eat it too.
I wish I could send it to you.
You did a beautiful job on plating, and thank you for spending your time with us this evening, Tannis. Is there any last thoughts that you want to share with everybody tonight?
Just cooking is this, it's like the spirit of sharing, and it really is about showing love. When you cook for yourself and for others, it's one of the nicest gifts you can give yourselves and your family and your friends. And it's just, I just can't encourage people more to cook. It makes your life better.
Well, thank you so much. And I know that you're off on a little bit of a journey to go up to the Northeast Kingdom and see the bounty that's available in Maine.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you one last time for joining us, Tannis, and enjoy and safe travels.
Thank you, and enjoy your meal tonight, everybody, and support Bethel Woods. You're doing.
Tannis Kowalchuk is from the Willow Wisp Organic Farm, among many other things she does. And she's also one of our Bethel Woods teaching artists in the Museum Education and Creative Programs Department at Bethel Woods. And thank you all again for being here. And please stay safe and have a wonderful evening. And thanks for joining us live with Bethel Woods at Home. Signing off, enjoy and enjoy your meal.